Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Welcome, one and all. Okay, let me go ahead and grab the slides. And of course, I don't think we'll be here more than an hour. um, okay, there we go. Wow, 2 days until Meghan's podcast premieres. All right, let me see who's here first. Janice Goodrich, thank you so much for being first. And oh wait, thank you so much to KA for the um, PayPal I just received. It says, I am so glad William hired a divorce lawyer so he can end this bad facade. Um, no more pretending and bad pharmaceutical commercials. So tired of the Rangers saying she will be queen, taking a page out of Harry's book, hiring his own lawyer. As you may remember, Harry decided that to deal with the press, he had to bypass the lawyers from the palace who, were told to stand down. And he got his own lawyer, David Sherborne, and that made a huge difference. And of course, Meghan hired her own lawyer. What is her name? Sophia, whatever their name is. That lady. Gosh, she was tough. I loved her. But yeah, you have to do that. You have to get your own representation because if you go through the institution, well, they're going to serve the institution. So Meghan was invited. Meghan was invited. Whatever they say, it appears that Meghan was invited. And there's so many inconsistencies that have cropped up since that Sky News Trevor Phillips interview. I'm so frustrated with, there's a panel of body language experts. I won't say the name. I thank you not to mention them either because we don't want to give them any engagement. But there is a panel of so called body language experts. And these body language experts, they have such a horrible bias against Harry and Meghan. And as usual, you have white men telling you what a black woman has experienced. And that really, really frustrates me. And for them to supposedly be so intelligent and have had all these important jobs, they don't have all the facts. Like, not one time did they mention that this is a voluntary position. Not one time did they establish the fact that, but for Harry, there probably wouldn't be a Ballet. And that's not to take anything away from Prince Say-So, but Harry was visiting. Harry, the outsider, and let's face it, Harry is the big celebrity in the room. And I'm kind of tired of people trying to downplay how important his role is and dismiss him as someone who lacks intelligence and just pushes everybody around. But that is pretty much their attitude about him. I've seen this group of people before, and it was the exact same thing. No matter what happens, they are very anti Sussex and they don't recognize their own bias. And once again, there was this thing about the prince who expects to have his way, and Meghan, the manipulator, and they even ended by saying that that Sophie was up against the Sussexes, and with Harry and Meghan trying to control the charity, they keep inserting Meghan's name into it, which really plays right into Sophie's bringing up Meghan in the first place. And they even said that, oh, she is so controlled and she is not phased by celebrity. The way that Sophie was hanging all over Harry, does that mean she wasn't phased by celebrity? The way Sophie inserts herself into the group with Meghan and Serena, that means she's not phased by celebrity. She may not be phased by it. A lot of people are not. But she certainly knows the value in using someone else's name. And therein lies the problem, is that she was trying to monetize the dopey prince, the unaware prince, the it's my way or the highway prince. She was trying to monetize his name. Harry has spent way too much time downplaying his importance in this world, downplaying his contribution. He has to make himself small because of the expectations people have for him being a prince of the realm. And it's totally understandable because one assumes so much about his character and his personality. And I'll even say this, Charles, King Charles III, when he was Prince Charles, he was abused and bullied and tormented by his father, by the school. Because those kids, let me tell you, those kids do not care that you will be king. They do not care. If they were so worried about you will be king, how did William get a hairline fracture? How was he knocked out cold? Not completely out cold by one of his playmates, the future king, laid out spread eagle with a hairline fracture. They could not even protect him from being bullied. And I don't even know that he was bullied, but I do know this much. Um, what's the use of having royal protection officers? What's the use of having nannies and such if you go out to play and somebody cracks your head open? So I'm very frustrated with them because they are just so biased. They're so biased against Harry, somebody that they do not know. There was at least one person on this curious quartet, um, this band of misfits, who did remind everybody that they do not have all the information, but they were just too impressed with her performance on Sky News. They were just way too impressed. And you all remember how I listened to it and I picked every word apart and I explained to you why she's using this language. They did the same thing, but they walked away with a completely different outcome. They were impressed, like the thing about the turkeys don't vote for Christmas, and the way she painted this picture of the board being old and out of date. And not once did they mention the mission, the remit of the charity was children who have been affected by AIDS. Either they're HIV positive, they may be ill, they may have lost their parents because of AIDS, they may have been orphaned. They didn't mention that. That was not important because you must get to the root of it. The charity was established 20 years ago by Harry and Prince Eso. So any vested interest that they have, I think it trumps most people involved because it is their charity. And they don't even give Harry the credit for the other charities where he has flawlessly performed and raised money. They did not mention his ability to fundraise. They didn't even mention Invictus games. They're focusing on Sophie, this charity, and there was a great deal of bias there. And one of them is a complete royalist. I think a couple of them or three of them are Americans, and one is a Brit and very much a royalist. And they laughed about the idea that William may step in there and take the charity away and such. Oh, and Sophie is not going anywhere. We'll see about that. We will see about that. Winsome Jones, thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you so much for joining us on Royal Sussex. And Martha 2021, thank you very much for the super sticker, and thank you very much for joining us. Gosh, what time is it in the UK right now? Let me take a look. Don't worry, I got my world clock right here, and it says it is 7:25 a.m. So you're having Royal Sussex for breakfast. Nice. And if you're in France, it is 8:25 a.m. Yeah, I keep a world clock. And I had a friend in Egypt this week. And so I've been keeping up with the local time in Egypt, 8:26 a.m. Oh, down in Lagos, it is 7:26, same as London. Okay. Seems like everybody's stacked right on top of each other. Very cool. But this will really bake your noodle. It's 2:26 p.m. in Tokyo. 2:26 p.m. Can you believe that? It's almost tomorrow. All right. Okay. Let's get on with it. But yeah, I'm very frustrated by that because that type of misinformation just really grates on my nerves. Uh-huh. Well, all I could say is he wasn't very much protected. Do you know how many people watch a golf match every year? How many people have watched a golf match? And most of them walk away without a fracture. Most of them, like 99.9999999% of them walk away without a fracture. Uh, let's see here. Hmm. Well, like I said, you would think, you would think the future king would have been better protected. And every time I think about Archie and Lily going over there, I keep thinking about that. I'm like, no, you couldn't even protect William. You couldn't even protect William. Yeah, yeah. Clearly, I mean, I've seen them before. I've seen them before, and I immediately erased it from my watch history. I immediately erased it. You have to delete stuff out of your watch history. Um, I don't delete everything, but I go back and I hand pick the ones that I don't want to see again. So you can do not interested and make sure that you take it out of your history That way, the algorithm is not going to throw it back at you. And also, the algorithm is not going to feed it to other people um, that, you frequent. Like, so since I have a channel, um, I don't want it recommended to you because I watched it. So I'm very disciplined about going back, removing things. And then there's just some things like those pimple busters and stuff like that. It does not come up on my feed because I'm very disciplined about making sure that I uh, mark it off as gross or whatever. I don't want to see that stuff. I do not want to see that stuff. Keep your pustules to yourself. Hey, Lex, thank you so much for joining us. Um, okay, let's continue here. What a nice view of the sunrise or the sunset. I can't decide. I'm thinking it's a sunrise, but I love that color. I don't know if it's 100% real, but um, I don't know. It kind of seems like someone played with the tone a bit, but that's okay. I like it. I like it. Thank you, Starries. Body language expert is a pseudo science and accepted in no UK court of law. Thank you. Thank you very much for reminding us about that. It is a pseudoscience. Hey, Antoinette Kennedy, Compton, Cali Gal. Okay, so Harry's imperious message. Duke allegedly sent harsh message to charity chair Dr. Sophie Chandauka. Not really a doctor; it's an honorary degree, and she clings to it like it's the last beverage before the plane lands, but or should I say the last cocktail before the plane lands. Um, let's uh, let's do this, and then we'll talk about it on the other side.
You're not being paid to do a role that you're being mistreated in. Why are you still there? And what?
Oh, okay. Let me go back to the very beginning.
It's a bit of a he said, she said, and now Harry's actually said something publicly, has he? Or is this all just coming from sources?
I'm not sure quite where this is coming from, but obviously Dr. Sophie has a problem with what's going on in the charity, as does Harry and as do everybody else. It came out then where we all heard that they've all stepped down from Centre Ballet, to Harry's great disappointment and upset. He didn't want to do it, but he felt that there was no other option. We then had Dr. Sophie come out and say that that there's been all these bad goings on within the charity, and this is the first we've heard of it. So she's only, once she's been asked to step down, she's suddenly come out and said all these awful things are happening in the charity. Well, why were these not being brought up before, when supposedly these awful things were taking place? Which doesn't seem to make sense. Why it's only all coming out now? I mean, if she's saying all the right things, why didn't it come out when it started happening? We've seen this video. We've seen it time and time again, where I think Meghan's trying to say to her, no, come into the middle of the photo, come into the middle of the photo. So yes, there was an awkwardness, but you can see that there is obviously a good rapport between them at that point in time. So for Harry to ask, oh, can you just support my wife and say some things about my wife? I don't think it's unreasonable or unusual to ask your friends to support you from time to time. I think we all do it, and it's quite commonplace. But I don't know. I don't know what the end game is with this, but I do think that that the doctor pretty much maybe has money on her mind.
Yeah, and I mean, it's all been made a little bit more heated as well with accusations around the charity boss, this Dr. Sophie Chandauka. People accusing her of playing the race card in all of this.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure whether playing the race card with Harry is going to work, because he's a great advocate for that. So I don't think it's going to work with him. And you know, we like I say, we don't know what's going on. We haven't seen all the documents, but she's not being paid to do the role she was asked to step down from. So it seems odd that she's putting her heels in and saying, "I'm not going anywhere, and I've been mistreated." Well, if you're not being paid to do a role that you're being mistreated in, why
It's a great day here.
really digging your heels in? I mean, it's a no-brainer. If it was happening to any of us, we would have gone long since if we weren't being paid. I mean,
Yeah.
why do we want to just stay and be mistreated? It makes no sense. So
Absolutely.
this is why I think.
Sorry, please continue. Sorry.
Sorry, no, this is why I say, you know, with situations like this, it's worth asking her, like, this. What I always like to say is, what is your end game? What do you want? And I think with her, it's money. This is the only thing that I can see.
We finally.
You know, and what if that is the point, that she wants to get some kind of settlement to leave? Maybe she's angling for some type of settlement to leave. One thing I know for certain, that ain't gonna work with the Sussexes. Hot Wheels couldn't get $70,000 from Meghan. Harry brought the Murdoch press to the very brink. Harry, well, let me put it to you like this. I believe Harry played them like a fiddle and got the apology that he demanded. And one of the things that came out of that group of body language experts, they said that she's going to stay as long as she pleases, and that Harry is not in the fight for the long run. And that just goes to show you they do not know him. They underestimate him at their own peril. They do not know him. Everybody, and I do mean everybody, was trying to convince Harry to leave this Rupert Murdoch lawsuit alone. And you know who else they underestimate? They underestimate the Duchess. They are very, very much secure in their resolve when it comes to what's right and what's wrong. And they do not suffer fools lightly. So that little closing remark about she is going to stay and fight, and Harry is not one to fight the long game, I disagree with that. I completely disagree with that. That right there goes to show their bias, because they have him pegged as someone, either it's my way or the highway, and if things aren't going my way, I'm going to just leave. I don't see it ending that way. I really don't see it ending that way. And it really shouldn't. It should not. That is a 19-year commitment. And that is one part of it that has been missing from so many of the people that have displayed their bias again and again, is you don't have that kind of commitment and you just walk away from it. This is something that is Harry's legacy. He's still a young man, but it's never too early to start thinking about your legacy. And this is indeed his legacy. And I am just sick and tired of being sick and tired. I'm tired of Harry having to downplay his importance because it makes other people uncomfortable. He's paid the dues to be where he is right now. He'll be the first to say, I've had a life of privilege. I'm not entitled to say this or to feel that, and nobody wants to. Of course. People are always going to see that someone else's situation has been rosy in comparison. But in terms of that family, from where he's come from and what he's experienced, because he can never not be Prince Harry. That would be impossible. He can never not be Prince Harry. It is no such thing as walking away from it all, because he will always be singled out from the crowd because of where he comes from. I'm so disappointed with Sophie. I'm so disappointed. I cheered the idea that she was part of this group of people fulfilling whatever role she was supposed to fulfill, because I never knew she was the chairperson. I knew she represented Centabali, but I didn't really care what her title was. I was just glad to see her there. But now that we know better, it is taken on a whole different meaning of seeing her there. Very disappointing. So anyway, this guy gets it. I like him. And yeah, I like him. I'll just say that. I like him. Oh, okay. Yeah, I think the people in Lesotho, I think they're very kind and welcoming and gracious, and there was a reason why Harry felt that connection. I'm just a layperson, and if I can recognize the BS language, I hope enough people that have a more important role to play in resolving this can see that too, and not give her the benefit of scheming and conniving her way into some position that she doesn't deserve, or some type of settlement that she does not deserve. The inconsistencies are breathtaking. It really is. Whatever you may think of Harry, however your feelings are about Harry, one thing is undeniable: his ability to fundraise, his ability to get some very high profile people on the telephone. And I'm going to recall that, oh gosh, what was the name of that event? It was for the vaccine equity. And the guy said that he asked citizens something. The guy said he asked Harry and Meghan if they would be the chairs of the event, or something to that effect. And as soon as he said that, they kicked into gear. And he was so thoroughly impressed with the way that Meghan was able to get some very important people involved. Very impressed. A intelligent person, you don't uh, uh, use your you don't allow your hubris, you don't allow your arrogance to push away or eliminate your best means of fundraising. I've worked with a lot of people that I like, and I've worked with some people that I could not stand. And I had so much respect for people that did their jobs, that didn't let down the side. And so whether I liked them as a person or got along with them, if they were an asset to the team, I was the first person to declare how important their role is to our goals. What a good employee that person is. I didn't cloud my judgment because of personal feelings. I did not stand in the person's way. If someone is a busybody, Don't sit there complaining about, oh, they're always, get out of the way. Get out of the way. If they're doing their job, get out of the way. Yeah. Um, I don't know how she got recommended or whatever, but yeah, Chintabale was vulnerable to something like this happening. And bringing a lawyer in there with all their command of the language and building this case about the old guard versus the new guard and bringing up all of these colonial tropes, even though you have accepted a colonial title at the end of your name, even though you've spent most of your life in the West being educated at Western institutions, working at Western countries. There it, I don't have a problem with someone leaving home to go out and create their life of success. But when you use that as a weapon, when you use that to manipulate um, a charity of all things, that I have a problem with. That I have a problem with. This does not, if she would have just gracefully stepped down, there would be no disruption of this magnitude to the ability to fundraise and provide service. But she is costing Chintabale precious time, and she's costing them money. Even the Sussex squad has decided, collectively, but not everyone. I'm just going to hold on to my money for now. Going to hold on to my money. So, very unfortunate. It is very, very unfortunate. You know what I just realized? I have not had any coffee. What is wrong with me? Huh, that's strange. Oh, well, you know what? I'm down to 3 coffee pods, so maybe that's why. Maybe I want to stretch those out. I got to get through all of tomorrow. I got to get through all of tomorrow with 3 coffee pods. Good luck to me. I still got some loose coffee that I can use though. Okay. Hello, Ivy here. Let me see here. Hey, Sandra, good morning. Now, Sophie invited Meghan, then blamed her for Polo Cup confusion. I'm going to get to that article. But let me just go here first. So Carmela says, honorary PhD holder Sophie Chandauka wrote Duchess Meghan Sussex a letter inviting her to the polo match. Yes, Sophie invited Duchess of Sussex in her rush to join the hate for profit fame train on Prince Harry and Meghan. She did what she did right there. So, in addition, there are questions about claims Sophie made in a television interview with Sky's Trevor Phillips last Sunday. She complained that Meghan had made a surprise appearance which had disrupted a polo tournament in Wellington, Florida in April 2024. While Harry insistence on bringing a Netflix camera crew, something she felt awkward about, had earlier lost the charity a polo venue in Miami. Now remember, she felt awkward about these cameras invading the space and
even had a chance to celebrate the wedding in Africa. We haven't an opportunity to meet the kids. And so a lot of us are really looking forward to the opportunity to do so when the time comes.
We have Netflix here filming the match. How exciting is that for the charity?
It's great platform and profile. The Netflix brand is globally recognized, and any opportunity to tell the story of Sindibale in the context of a global brand such as Netflix is obviously exciting for us. We haven't even had a chance to celebrate the wedding in Africa. We haven't an opportunity to meet the kids. And so a lot of us are really looking forward to the opportunity to do so when the time comes.
We have Netflix here filming the match. How exciting is that for the charity?
It's great platform and profile. The Netflix brand is globally recognized, and any opportunity to tell the story of Sindibale in the context of a global brand such as Netflix is obviously exciting for us.
Well, that invasive species, Netflix, the next split, that is a Kensington Palace talking point. And those so-called body language experts, they don't, I suppose they just don't really understand the backstory, and they don't have enough intellectual curiosity to want to understand it. They take what's floating on the surface and scoop that out and try to make sense out of it when there's so much more to it. There is so much more going on. So, says here, it has now been claimed by sources that Sophie had personally written to Meghan to invite her to the Polo, and that Harry, friend Nacho Figueras, had secured the alternative venue to the financial advantage of Sindibale after the original host in Miami had increased the costs. Sophie confirmed the invitation, but said she and the Sindibale team were informed less than 24 hours in advance of Meghan's attendance. Meghan, who went and sat in the boot of the car, sat in a lawn chair off to the side somewhere. Like I said, so many inconsistencies. Furthermore, video footage has come to light showing that Sophie welcomed Netflix participation. Is a great platform and profile. The Netflix brand is globally recognized, and any opportunity to tell the story of Sindibale in the context of a global brand such as Netflix is obviously exciting for us, Sophie said at the time. Much has been made of the awkward exchange when Meghan asked Sophie to move away from Harry on the presentation podium after the match. However, the video soundtrack reveals that Duchess asked politely, "Do you want to come over here? Do you want to come over here? Hey, Sophie, do you want to come over here?" And get away from my man. God, stop touching him. That was it. That was it. Do you want to come over here? I mean, there was no place for her to stand. She literally, let's look at that again. Let's look at that again. It even seems like there was a dress code to wear white for the women, don't it? It seemed like there was a little dress code for anybody who comes on the stage. We want you to wear white. Okay, enter Sophie. Now, were you going to just stand there? Were you going to just stand there? Meghan's already in her rightful place next to her husband. Whether she gave 15 minutes notice, 15 days, or 24 hours, it doesn't take much choreography to understand that Meghan is going to stand next to her husband. Also, I would be curious to know how many polo matches that Sophie has attended in the past before Scintillaballet. How many times had she been actually invited on the stage before Scintillaballet that she believes that it is awkward for the wife of, the team captains, if you will, to stand next to them on the stage. Again, so many inconsistencies. To examine the running of Scintillaballet, the commission, the voluntary sector's watchdog, will weigh up the claims and counterclaims and check whether the charity's former and current trustees, including Sophie, have fulfilled their legal responsibilities. If there is any evidence of wrongdoing, it could lead to a more severe statutory inquiry under which bank accounts can be investigated and replacement staff brought in to run the charity. Yes. And you know what? I'm glad we know that guy that worked for William, I'm glad we know that he has received some kind of payment. It would, so that way we know that if they try to bring him in to run it, that would right there be a conflict of interest. And I'm sure that whatever lawyers are involved is going to raise that point, that there would be some level of a conflict of interest because of that. YM Droid says, anybody there to see you, Otis, Sophie? Thank you, YM Droid. Yeah, right there. There's a little ledger that says there's money owed. Yeah. Also, the body language people, they didn't think it was awkward that he was invited to the Sky News. They felt that he should have been more lively, that Sophie tried to defer some of the answers or questions, that is, to him, and that he just didn't really rise to the occasion. If you had good sense, you would just say, why is he here in the first place? She's more than capable of speaking for herself. But I said right out the gate when she mentioned that, oh gosh, I forgot how she started. When she said that Harry and Princeso thought themselves well placed to answer a really, really urgent call to help for the HIV/AIDS, and then also you let her get away with saying that AIDS is no longer a death sentence. You guys, let me tell you, I ain't had the most schooling, but I can pick some words apart with the best of them. I can pick some words apart with the best of them. The best approach is not to get caught up in the emotion of the words. I am a stickler for details, and I listen closely. I listen carefully, and I always consider the context in which these words are being used. And I know a grift when I see one. I know a grift. It was well thought out. She definitely uh, she practiced it. She was well rehearsed. She knew exactly what she was going to say. Trevor Phillips, I will give him credit for, just blatantly saying, they say the problem is you. You're the problem. But she had an answer for everything. She had an answer. And that by itself to me is a bit suspicious. When you have an answer for everything, you don't think about it. You don't hesitate. You have an answer, a carefully worded answer for everything. That's not a conversation. That is a well rehearsed statement that's coming out. So now I was wondering, where did this come from? Where did this come from? Because, see, a lot of times people will share and post things, but they don't give you the source. And I always hesitate to use stuff like that because I want to know where it came from. And so I searched in vain to try to figure out, where did this come from? Well, I'll show it to you right now. The source of this. Okay. Oh, wait, not like that. It actually comes from Sky News. This was, well, anyway, I'll let you listen. Okay.
Spend almost half Chandauka's decision to spend almost £500,000 on consultants' fees. Sky News were shown this document by a source close to former trustees detailing the sums paid. On the list is Ian Rawlinson, recently appointed a new trustee. He appeared alongside Dr. Chandauka in her interview. She insists the money's been correctly spent. One charity governance expert says the compliance case will look at any fees paid.
That's a mighty large percentage of their annual income. So it's bound to raise question marks. But if the trustees properly evaluated the situation, took professional advice if they needed it, avoided conflicts of interest and made their decision, I don't think the charity...
Chandauka's decision to spend almost £500,000 on consultants' fees. Sky News were shown this document by a source close to former trustees detailing the sums paid.
Okay. Just wanted you to know where that came from. No shade to the people that share these things, but before I share something, I kind of like to know where it came from. So now we know. This was a document that was shared with Sky News. And you can see the Lebec, you can see the media consultant. And I'm still wondering, this idea of Harry sending a email, which is no longer email, now it's a text message, asking her to explain herself. I wonder if she's going to try to pass that off as Harry trying to question her about the exchange on stage, which was a big fat nothing burger. I wonder if she's going to try to pass off one thing for the other, whether or not she's going to carefully cherry pick certain parts of an email to share. Yeah. Yeah, especially when you consider that a lot of money that come from the United States and maybe other countries where they were able to combat, where they could not just combat further infections, but to teach and give information and take away some of the stigma of being tested in the first place. And then in some cultures and some, countries in Africa, the idea, and like I said, I can't even talk about that because it's just too horrible. But there's some superstitious ways that you can protect yourself from it or eliminate it once you're infected. And oh God, it is education is definitely needed. Education is definitely needed. I mean, even here in the United States, there are so many infections that happen because I remember this one girl, she um, was dating some guy that was older, and um, she thought that AIDS was something that happens to um, white gay men that live in big cities. She didn't think that in her rural community that that was a thing. She didn't think that she could possibly ever be exposed to it, um, because there was no education in her community because of all of the faith-based organizations and of course the politicians that wants to dumb people down. There was no education about it, so she didn't think it was possible. And so now she's on medication for the rest of her life. So it is never good to dismiss it. And it also reminds me of, if you're a big fan of Oprah and you watched Oprah for years, if you remember, Oprah invited people on to her show to speak about it. And Oprah was like, well, look at Magic Johnson. She said, yeah, look at Magic Johnson. She said, I don't have Magic Johnson money. She said, Magic Johnson has a team of people to care for him. And yeah, she said, there's medication. She says, but who wants to be on medication if you don't have to? She said, this is something that I have to do. And again, this is someone who did not think that she was in any way vulnerable. So yeah, it's still a thing. And Dr. Sophie, the pretend PhD Dr. Sophie, she sat there on Sky News and said very clearly that it is no longer a death sentence and we should move on to other things like wealth building and in this post Black Lives Matter world. I know there are some people that are vulnerable to that kind of language that she used and that get very emotional over certain words and certain phrases and certain history and such. I just am not one of them. I am not one of them. I know game when I see it. And I never get caught up in that stuff. I just don't have it in me. I don't care who it is. I'm always wondering, why are you using that language? Why are you throwing this at me and that at me? And also, you know how sometimes you have let's say a friend or a family member, all of a sudden they get worked up about something and they're speaking all of this, I guess, introducing data and talking points that that's not their voice. They're speaking like someone else. This is not uh, organic to their personality. It's not organic to their upbringing. This is like some kind of virus that has been introduced and it is consuming them, and they don't even know it. They don't even know it. They're just all caught up in the moment, which is okay sometimes, but not all the time. Not all the time. You just can't take everything at face value. This is why we have some lunatic in the White House that is trying to wreck the global economy because he thinks he's the smartest person in the room. And there are people that will still follow him no matter what. All of that misinformation that came out during the pandemic, misinformation, they call, like, a whole family goes to dinner, and let's say there's 10 people meeting for the holiday dinner, and half of them end up in the hospital. Maybe 3 of them die. And then the guy said, well, do you think you're still going to vote for Donald Trump? I'm not sure. Now, this MAGA idiot was listening to all of this, drink this and do that and stand out there and stand on one foot and swing a chicken over your head. This idiot was listening to all of that, and he and his family supporting Donald Trump. Oh, we don't need a face mask. Breathing your own breath is poison. He lost, I think, 3 family members and was still conflicted about whether or not he would vote for him. I'm like, good God. Such is the decline of Western civilization. Okay, let's go on. Oh, I love her. I got 2 of hers to share with you. Let me take a look at a couple of these comments before we go on. Yes, Rena, you're absolutely right. She is dependent upon protection from some very powerful people. Very powerful people. And she may find herself getting one of those honors because of it. She's already been honored once, but she may actually earn this one in another way. Yes, Susie, Mom. I can, like I said, it's certain things I will just latch on to it and I don't let it go. And I'm still hearing in my head her saying, it's no longer a death sentence. It's time to move on. That's not your call. You don't have the credentials to make that call. That is not your call. The woman who is accusing Harry and say so of being in over their heads because they thought themselves well placed to deal with an emergency, she herself considers herself well placed to deal with that, and that her word is all that matters. It is no longer a death sentence, and we need to move on to other things, as though she was there when the charity started. Or if Centabale does nothing else but follow the same mandate that they always have, I don't see how that's a problem. You're dealing with orphans. You're disseminating information. You're. I suppose they're giving out protection for people, whatever it is that they've been doing. Do you mean to tell me that if they just focused on that and that alone, that somehow it is it's going to somehow interfere with the community from moving on to other things? The government the government in Lesotho and Botswana and wherever, they have to cover everything from hospitals to potholes to law enforcement, whatever taxes. That is what they have to do. They cannot devote all of their resources to the HIV and AIDS crisis. They cannot, because there's other things in the community that needs attention. So Harry and Say So, they see that there is a need, and they addressed it by starting a charity in both their mothers' names. And she carefully crafted her words so that she could, I mean, that's why she said that first, was to quickly eliminate that from the conversation, and then to go on and start hitting on those emotional cues that would slowly pull you over to her side. I mean, in some ways, it was a masterclass in deception. It really was. It was a masterclass in deception. And it may or may not help, but it was carefully crafted. And she came in there with an agenda. And Trevor Phillips gave just enough pushback to seem credible. Now, that being said, I would love to go a couple of rounds with her, because I ain't no punk either. Trust and believe. I would love to go a couple of rounds with her. Yep. But, you know, the big disadvantage for Harry is being a white man. He's not from Africa. He's not genetically, he's not native to Africa. And in the court of public opinion, she's hoping that people will see it as this overbearing prince. And of course, let's not forget the board of trustees, that they will see this as a bunch of white people with colonial ties picking on this black woman who single-handedly wants to use Sentabale to save Africa. That is what she's hoping for. That is why she used that loaded language. Okay, now let's get on to this very wise individual.
Times when timelines do not add up. What do I mean? On March the 10th, the board of Sentabale resigns and sends letters to the chair. On the 25th of March, Ian Rawlinson, Prince William's guy, he gets appointed to the board. However, on the Sky TV interview or some other interview, I don't know which, so don't quote me, but on an interview, this same guy claims that he bore witness to the board approving the chair's spending. How is that possible? How is it possible for you to bear witness to a spending that happened a year before you were appointed? Coincidence? Was he time traveling? Was he a silent observer from the shadows? Or was he simply repeating what he was told? Who knows? Either way, the math isn't mathing. And it's no wonder that Prince Harry and Prince Cecil decided to walk away without looking back. But like I said, this is an unfolding situation, but this was something I spotted and I feel that many people are not talking about. My name's Elizabeth. I'm the author of The Luxpreneur, and I tend to see patterns and things maybe many people don't. So for more insights like these, please like, share, comment for more.
We see patterns that other people don't see. Okay? We see patterns that other people don't see. Okay, I got one more for you. I love her. I'm going to build a shrine to her later.
When the very communities a charity is meant to uplift, Lesotho and Botswana feel disrespected, exploited, and unheard, the damage is profound and unforgivable. The current leadership at Sentebale is now under fire, not just for governance failures, but for so many alleged things. And most of it is self-serving agenda. Instead of focusing on the vulnerable children who have been impacted by the effects of HIV, the charity is now embroiled in a scandal and damage control. That is unacceptable. And this is the hard truth. Charities exist to serve and not to settle personal scores with a PR battle or with a press junket. When you lose the trust of the people, you lose everything. Sentebale right now appears to be crumbling. When the leadership becomes a liability, it's time to step aside. It's time to put your ego aside and step away. If the focus shifts from helping children to protecting egos, the leadership has failed. This is a plea to all Botswana, all Basotho, all Botswana, and all allies of Lesotho and Botswana. The future of Sentebale is now hanging in the balance, and we all have to act now to save the organization before more children's lives are harmed. Because for me, a 20-year-old charity shouldn't be allowed to collapse a year and a bit after a certain person assumes the leadership. I think it would be a shame. My name's Elizabeth. I'm the author of The Luxpreneur. And please like, share, comment, and follow for more insights like these.
Okay, so if you want to see more of her work, go to TikTok to the Luxury Business Guru. That's what it says there, Luxury Business Guru. And you can see some more of her work. And she's actually made quite a few videos about this topic. So again, if you want to see more, that is the place to go. But yeah, so founding patrons, Prince Harry and Princess, so 19-year commitment, and the wannabe Dr. Sophie, that's whatever you say, things began to fall apart when she showed up, or actually when she became chair. She had been there before, and there was no mention of this stuff. You know, and like, let me make a very, well, not so precise comparison, but let's say you were president of the United States and you lost an election and you come storming back 4 years later. 4 years later, you start dismantling institutions that not only was there during your first administration, but had been in place for years, including disrupting the U.S. aid that was distributed all over the world. That aid money was for goodwill. That was a way to say to other people around the world, hey, we're the good guys. We're generous. We're so kind, and please don't pay attention to how we're exploiting you and stealing all of your wealth and such. But we're the good guys. So it was what they call soft power. But all of a sudden, we're being ripped off. The message that is being pushed out there by this crazy person in the White House is that everybody's ripping us off. Nobody benefited from the Second World War greater than the United States. The United States has, I believe, is 700, counted 700 military bases around the world. That is an empire. That's not just a democracy, that's an empire. This is Imperial America, the Imperial United States. That is an empire. And those bases are there to protect our interests. In other words, give us what we want freely or we will take it. Who else does that? An empire. So we can't pretend that that's not what this country is. My point is, though, you were there before, and whatever deficits you think was around at that time, whatever dysfunctions were problematic, or that is problematic now, was there in the past, and you said nothing, you did nothing. But once you become chair and you start spending money like a drunken sailor, now all of a sudden, Prince Harry is too bossy. The board is too old and out of place. The mission of the charity is behind the times. Interesting how all that changes to suit the mood of the chair. Just like we're bankrupting all of the global markets to suit the mood of that lunatic. And in both cases, it seems to be individuals that are gifted speakers, right? They're very gifted. They know how to turn a word and also have what appears to be almost a sociopathic like mentality, operate and function like a sociopath. Sophie is literally denying the services because of the funding is being starved from the charity because she will not leave. And knowing full well that if she stays, who's going to work with her? Who's going to trust her? Who's going to give her money? Is her sheer force of will so great that she is going to replace Prince Harry when it comes to fundraising? Is she promised millions of dollars from, let's say, Kensington Palace? Are they going to supplement Prince Harry? Also, the Sussexes are well on track to become billionaires. They are heavily invested in different companies. Meghan has just started her product line. Now, if Harry has given 1.5 million for a book, how much money do you think you got coming in the future? I'm going to just say a lot. At least you had that coming. You could always start your own charity. You could always go and work for it. There are so many Western charities all over Africa, some of which are absolutely horrible, and some are, pretty good. But the point is, you're not being paid, and you're not Nobody's forcing you to stay. Yeah, someone is trying to stop it. Someone is hell bent on disrupting. Oh no, Ingrid, what is going on? Wow. Wow, I did not know that. Wow, I'm gonna have to look into that one. Well, I pray you much relief. Sophie asked, he's my witness. Right. Witness to what? In relations to the board member that Sky News interviewed about attendance. Right. Okay. I remember that. She said that that particular board member that spoke out about her, she said the few meetings that he attended or something to that point. And of course, how would he know that? You're my witness. How would he have witnessed that? That is an excellent question. How on God's green earth would he have witnessed such a thing? Yeah. As always, there's some distraction. Look at the shiny object over here. Look at the shiny object over here. You know, I got into an argument with a very close dear friend that favored Donald Trump over Kamala Harris. And every day I say to myself, because I don't want to start an argument, so I just say it to myself, is this what you voted for? Is this what you voted for? At the time, I said, listen, this man is fleecing. He and his cohorts, they are getting rich beyond belief from their positions. How much of that money are you getting a cut of? How much of that is yours? How is that going to benefit you having a con artist in the White House? How does that benefit you? It is beyond belief. I still cannot believe, having gone through this from what was the inauguration, 2017 to 2021, having gone through everything that we have been through for that first 4 years of Trump. And people voted for him again, expecting a different outcome. Now, to be fair, he only won by a very small margin. Don't think about the map with all the red on it, because that is an image designed to confuse people. Stop thinking about the map with all the red, because that is like Sophie saying there's 540 staff people and their families that must defend this and that and so on and so forth. It is the same thing, except it's a visual cue with all of the red. The truth is, Donald Trump won by a very small margin. Back in 2016 election, it was 78,000 votes divided over 5 states. Almost exactly what happened this last time. 78,000 people made the difference, which means that it wasn't so much 78,000 people went out to vote for him. The goal is to humiliate and disparage and give so much misinformation that you cause the essential voters to stay home. You tell enough lies, you misrepresent enough, and you get a lot of people to stay home. And that is how Republicans usually win an election. A great deal of deception, last minute robocalls and such. That is how they do it. And so far, the Democrats rarely have an answer for that. They don't have anything to compare to that. So it's really a misinformation game. And that is what Sophie is playing, is a misinformation game, and using emotional cues, using emotionally charged language. Speaking of that she wants to decolonize a charity. Whatever way you can identify colonization with a charity, any charity, first and foremost, are they helping people? Are they fulfilling a void in care? Are they feeding people? Are they doing something that you alone cannot do yourself? With all of your good intentions, are they doing something that you cannot do yourself? And then you have to weigh how important it is to have this charity in comparison to, let's say, what they're taking away from the community. Or do they represent something from history that is so awful and outrageous? No matter how many people they can help now, we just cannot have them around because of the history. It's a decision people have to make every day. Being a descendant from slaves, I have to go to a workplace where there's mostly white people. Do I declare that I should not be here because of the history? Or do I go and earn a paycheck? Nobody's disrespecting me. Nobody is preventing me from doing the best work I can. So that's a choice you have to make. But she's using history against the board of trustees, against Prince Harry. And unfortunately, there's some people who will believe it, who will accept it, and accept her at face value. They'll see her as some kind of heroine. She's just this African woman who went to the West, got a good education, and now she's coming back to savior of a community that she's not even really a part of. Is she going to give up her home in the West and go and live in Botswana? Is she going to give up everything and go and be with the people? Doubtful. Okay, now take a look here. The shock of having Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, attend a polo game. There's Kitty. There's Princess Diana. There's Queen Elizabeth. There's Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex. And even if you say to yourselves, okay, this polo took place in the United States, in Wellington, Florida. Okay, Wellington. Where does that name come from? I believe there was a Duke named Wellington, wasn't it? I couldn't imagine that name came from any place else. Okay. I live in a city that has a Hyde Park. Most big cities has a Hyde Park. Where does that name come from? Even the name Inglewood. There's a notorious neighborhood in Chicago named Inglewood. If you look at the history of that name, you would know that that name comes from England. So that right there is not a big deal. But the name of it, the name of the actual match is the Royal Salute. The game that they're playing, the Royal Salute, is called the Royal Salute. And who's on the stage? A prince and a princess. Shock horror. A prince and a princess are on the stage when the trophy is presented at something called the Royal Salute. They had the princess present the trophy. Was Sophie supposed to present the trophy? Was that her aspiration? Did she want to be the one to do it? Did that take? But then we hear that she asked Meghan to come. Because as we know, Meghan hasn't been going to everything. She never has. And she never will. She picks and chooses along with Harry. They decide as a couple, are we going to do this together or are we not? But they don't go everywhere together. They're not fused together, connected at the hip or anything. So they're royals doing what royals do at a polo game, which is called the Royal Salute. God, I wish I could. I wish I could go a couple of rounds with her on television. I really do. Because this really needs to be picked apart in a very public forum. She needs to be put on the spot with somebody who is very adept at bringing up these questions, not some two-bit reporter who also has some royal title, Sir Trevor Phillips. Ah, that's more like it. That's more like it. Sophie, the center of attention. That is more like it. That is her set point, her comfort right there. That everything evolves from her place on the stage, or in this case, in front of the board. And then let's not forget this: friend plus trustee, colleague plus consultant. I wonder if they had to pay their own airfare to get there. Or was that included? I would love to see some information about who's paying for the travel. I can guarantee you that Harry and Meghan paid their own way, as they do on so many occasions. They paid their own way. You know how you see William and Kate hop on a train when it has something to do with the environment? Harry and Meghan were taking the train all over the UK. They never hesitate to take the train. Even Queen Elizabeth, for the sake of symbolism, see, we don't give her credit because, you know, again, the colonial history and such. But even Queen Elizabeth wanted to remind people, I take the train too. And I'm not talking about the royal train. Sometimes she would get a first class ticket and ride on the same type of train that I rode on in the UK. And at her advanced age, she didn't have to do that, but she did that well into her 90s. The Sophie Chandauka fallout deserves honest scrutiny. It really does. And hopefully that's exactly what's going to happen, is that there's going to be some honest scrutiny, and that someone very capable will pick this storyline apart, because there's too many holes in it to just accept it at face value. Oh, and I also said, let me see, where is that at? I had promised that I would get to the, oh yeah, that other article. Let me see here. The one that we started off with exactly, I'm not going to spend much time on it, because I think we've done a lot with this already. But let me just take a glance at it. Let me see, in the Sky News headline, Sky News interview, Sophie made serious claims about Prince Harry, Meghan, Sussex, Polo, and the Chandauka charity, claims that are now being called into. Okay, so let me get to the part where they say she actually says here, on the actual day, we had Prince Harry, which is always wonderful. These are Sophie's words, I think. The Duchess decided to attend, but she told us she wasn't attending. And she brought a friend, a very famous friend. So you can imagine all of the activity that goes with these additional amazing people, right? We're excited about it. We would have been really excited if we'd known ahead of time, but we didn't. And so the choreography went badly on stage because we had too many people on stage. Now, again, this implies that Meghan's famous friend was on the stage too. She was not. And so it really plays into the idea that someone listening to this is going to believe that we were overwhelmed on the stage because Meghan brought a friend. And that's why she didn't care to mention Serena. The idea is, if you know, you know. If you don't know, in your head, just count that as another burden, having this celebrity friend. I don't know how many places you could go and say, Serena Williams is here. Yeah, she's joining us. And that would become a burden rather than an asset. Also, it is a polo match. Rich people, privileged people, philanthropists go to polo matches, especially when you have a fundraiser. You're supposed to be more excited about the idea that Serena might cut us a check on the way out of here, instead of feeling inconvenienced about her presence. Are you insane? That is lunacy. It's so disingenuous. Now, the reality check. Sophie invited Meghan herself. Multiple sources confirm that Sophie personally invited Meghan to a polo event. Though she later claims the Duchess' attendance disrupted the stage choreography, her own outreach contradicts that narrative. Chandauka staff were informed of Meghan's presence ahead of time. Even with under 24 hours notice, it wasn't a surprise. Respectful gesture, not a power play. Even more telling, video footage shows Meghan and another woman politely gesturing for Sophie to stand in the center during the trophy presentation. A voice can be heard saying, "in the middle," encouraging Sophie to take a place of honor as chair of the charity. Meghan stepped back to give her space. Meghan showed her respect by helping center Sophie on the stage, just as someone would for any chairperson at a public event. And then the next one is headed, Royal Tradition Proves Meghan Was Not the Problem at the Polo Match, which is what I just said. Meghan Meghan has supported Prince Harry at polo matches since they began dating. Her appearance at the 2024 event followed the same tradition seen with Princess Diana, Kate Middleton. Sophie's framing of Meghan as a disruption reveals more about the media bias than protocol. And that, of course, is that the media, time and time again, have accepted this notion that there was some type of conflict on the stage, that Meghan was bullying her and being rude to her. They won't play the video where you can hear Meghan politely asking her, would you like to stand here? They don't play that one. A matter of fact, they even speak over the video that is playing at the time to make sure that it is not at all audible, that you can only hear their voices saying that Meghan had strong-armed her some kind of way. And in this article, they did share. Let me go back to that again. They shared these 4 images just as a visual cue to remind you exactly what we've said. The royal spouses have long played a visible role at polo matches, from Queen Elizabeth and Princess Diana to Catherine the Great, God help us, and Meghan Sussex. Their presence has supported their partners and promoted charitable causes. These moments are part of royal tradition, not disruptions. I tell you, I love Feminagra. And then let's get to this one. She blames Harry for venue loss. Prince Harry caused the charity to lose a polo venue and disrupted the fundraising event with his Netflix crew and Meghan's surprise appearance. In her Sky News interview, Sophie claimed. She said, we couldn't afford the original venue, so we lost the venue. A lot of people were unhappy. There you go with bringing other people into it, even phantom fictitious people. A lot of people were unhappy. We had too many people on stage, driving that point again. She blamed Harry's Netflix filming and Meghan's attendance for logistical confusion, venue loss, and overall disruption. As a matter of fact, she was so shaken, she said,
even had a chance to celebrate the wedding in Africa. We haven't an opportunity to meet the kids. And so a lot of us are really looking forward to the opportunity to do so when the time comes.
We have Netflix here filming the match. How exciting is that for the charity?
It's great platform and profile. The Netflix brand is globally recognized, and any opportunity to tell the story of Sindivale in the context of a global brand such as Netflix is obviously exciting for us. We haven't even had a chance to celebrate.
I mean, listen to the joy in her voice. Listen to the joy in her voice.
Even had a chance to celebrate the wedding in Africa. We haven't an opportunity to meet the kids. And so a lot of us are really looking forward to the opportunity to do so when the time comes.
We have Netflix here.
Oh, she is in her element, the center of attention. And people showing her respect as the chairperson. And she uses that as a weapon against them. Okay, so the fact tells us differently. The fact tells us a different story. According to multiple sources, Prince Harry's friend Nacho Figueras helped secure the replacement venue after the original Miami hosts raised their prices. The change benefited Centabale financially, not harmed it. It was a financial benefit. Now it doesn't cost you as much, or it costs you nothing, whatever the case may be. Um, while Prince Harry was working behind the scenes to save the event and reduce costs, Sophie was signing off on massive consultant fees. The charity paid Lebec £185,000, even though the firm has now deleted its Instagram account. Sarah Ezian, a former colleague of Prince William's comms aide, Jason Knopf, received £41,451 and also wiped her social media presence the same day as Lebec. Let me say that again. Lebec, gone. There's Sarah, whatever her name, gone. She being a former colleague of Prince William's communications aide, Jason Knopf. Let that sink in. Most notably, Ian Rawlinson, a known royal ally, was paid £24,000 and is still owed £66,000. That's a total of £90,000 for one individual. Rawlinson's other company, Global Philanthropic, was also paid £21,600 by Centabale. These payments were made while Sophie accused Harry of harming fundraising. I guess she did. Hell, now she needs the money. But who was really draining the budget? Who was really draining the budget? And you guys, let me ask you something. If you have seen that interview on Sky News and the very lackluster performance coming from Ian Rawlinson, if he is actually doing some real work as a consultant, God, I guess you have to have a pot of coffee nearby, because he is as dull as dishwater. He couldn't talk his way into helping Sophie at this occasion. I don't know if he's any more helpful in other places. He has a suit, he wears a tie, he's connected to the royal family, and that's probably all that really matters. Whether he's effective at his work, well, that remains to be seen. I guess he is, seeing that he's managed to get £90,000 plus another £21,000. He must be good at something. Slick ass. Anyway, let's go to this picture right here. The caption that they have at Feminagra says, Prince Harry, Sophie Chandauka, Nacho Figueras, and Richard Miller attend the 2024 Centabale Polo Cup in Wellington, Florida. At the time, Richard Miller was still serving as CEO of Centabale. He would later resign in December 2024 as part of a leadership shift to move executive role closer to the charity's work in Southern Africa. So eventually he was gone too. And the CEO was not on stage when they had the bad choreography. I didn't see him on stage either. There were a group of people that was standing on the ground in front of the stage for another photo op, and maybe he was one of those people. Now, let me see here. Even the 1.5 million pound donation Prince Harry gave from his spare memoir and his longtime fundraising through polo matches weren't enough to offset this kind of spending. When the event needed rescuing, it was Harry's network, not Sophie's spending, that delivered. Final thought. Sophie's complaints about Meghan's presence at the polo match fall apart when matched with the facts. Sophie personally invited Meghan, welcomed the media exposure, and supported Netflix involvement, at least until the narrative shifted. Her sudden pivot raises serious questions about her leadership and motives. Instead of owning up to her role in the breakdown at Sintibale, Sophie has targeted Meghan and Harry, two public figures whose names help bring global attention to the charity's mission. But the facts are now public, and they tell a different story. So there you go. That is the article from Feminegra. Okay. And okay. So I'm done with that part of things. Yeah, it appears to be the case, isn't it? It's amazing how all of those people tend to run in the same circles. But you know what? Maybe in the end, this will take the fundraising over to the U.S. You know, maybe it may be more beneficial to have it here in the U.S. Than to have a charity registered in the United Kingdom, because you have the Ians and the surrogates of Jason Knopf and such. I don't know if that would be helpful or hurtful, but I don't know at this point. There's a lot to lose. But then again, let's wait and see what kind of findings comes from the whatever that governing body of charities, what they come up with, and then we'll see what happens. Connie Balmer. Hey, Connie Balmer. Thank you so much for, oh, I could do better than that. Thank you very much for the super sticker. And as always, thank you for watching Royal Sussex. Oh, yeah, and thank you for being a member. We love members. That doesn't sound strange. We love members. All right, let's get to the as ever. If you go on the page now, if you go on the home page, look at the menu and everything, as you can see, they added the captions, sold out to everything. Everything is sold out. So that is what you'll see. So they've been tinkering around with, oh my goodness, a member for 30 months. 30 months membership. Now that's more like it. And you said it was 30 months, and that's exactly what it is. Hey, Diane Hawkins, I didn't know you were here. All right. So yeah, that's what you get. Now, let me take a look before I leap to the next thing here. Just want to check something. Oh yeah, that's fine. Let me see here. All right, so nutritionist weighs in on how healthy Meghan's Markle's as ever jam really is. Now, this is no surprise, you guys. We were waiting to hear the big negative spin on everything. And of course, the headline had more bite than the actual article. They had, you know what? I looked at the. Let me see here. Basically, it is a preserve. It's sweet, and they actually shared a clip of someone eating the raspberry spread. And she said that it was how did she put it? She said that it seemed kind of it was very thin. It was very thin, you know, like almost to imply that it was too runny. The thing that I noticed though is that when she opened the jar, she didn't stir it up. Now, I eat the I love that raspberry preserve from France, the Baume, or however you say it. Is it Bomme? Anyway, that's the only brand that I ever buy. I buy that raspberry brand, the raspberry flavor. Um, the strawberry is good. The apricot is good. It's all good. Everything that they have is excellent. When I first open the jar, I take a clean spoon and I stir it because it settles in shipment. Anything like that, I stir it. I'm trying to think what else. If I open up a tub of whipped cream, or if I open up not whipped cream, sour cream, I stir it because it settles. So I was just wondering, did they take the time to do that? Some things that you open in a can or a jar or something like that, you should stir it up. I love that what is that? The Thai peanut sauce. I purchased that from Trader Joe's. I opened up the jar, I took a clean spoon, and I stirred it first. That is the first thing I do. So I don't know if they did that or not, but anything like that you buy is going to settle. And if you can't mix it up by shaking it because it's too thick, then you need to take a clean spoon and stir it. That's all. So, in their criticism, I don't know if they um, actually did that, but to me, that is very necessary before I start, dolloping out servings of whatever. Sweet and sour sauce, shake it. Orange juice, shake it. Raspberry preserve, stir it. Mix it up. So, anyway, it wasn't an awful, wow, Lizzo looks good. It wasn't absolutely awful, but still, I think that it had to have some kind of negativity because, well, that's what they do. They they want to make trouble. So let me see. Yeah, withering takedown, and of course the language. Withering take on Meghan's latest money making scheme. They called it a scheme, of course, and why we were shocked by what we discovered. Now, I'm here to tell you, I'm sure they didn't do all that when what's High Grove, when the High Grove products came out. I'm sure they didn't do all that. I am pretty sure they didn't. I don't know it for a fact, but I just got a feeling. that there was no fanfare. They just said how much it cost. Is it too much for the public? End of. Lucy Hyland, Sophie needs to be removed as soon as as a sneeze. Thank you, Lucy Hyland, and thank you for being a member. I agree. She needs to go. She's a disruptor. I think that she looks at Sindibale as a cash cow. I believe that she sees her financial future and her cronies tied up into that charity. And I think that it's not just that she doesn't want Harry to go. She really doesn't want Harry to go. Harry is key to the fundraising, and that's why she was hanging all over him like a cheap suit, because Harry is key to the fundraising. And I am biased. I am biased AF where Harry and Meghan is concerned. Y'all know that already. Bias. So even under the best or worst of circumstances is Team Sussex. Because as far as I'm concerned, I go all the way back to the beginning. But for the fact that they have been driven out of the UK, that they have been harassed and maligned by the tabloid media, all of the plotting that comes from Kensington Palace and his brother. But for all of that, a lot of situations wouldn't be the way it is right now. So I feel the same way about Sindibale. If it wasn't for Prince Harry, there would be no Sindibale. Whatever would have possibly filled that void, I could almost bet you dollars to donuts we wouldn't know the name of it. We wouldn't know it exists. All of this would be just another anonymous charity somewhere. But because of Prince Harry, it has a global profile with some of the biggest charities and some of the oldest charities that ever existed. It has a very high profile now. It is front page news. So, and you could argue, well, Sophie did that. No, she didn't. She's only able to do it because of Harry. Now, as ever, order is here and it is beautiful. Can't wait to try everything. The packaging alone is gorgeous, but I would expect nothing less from Meghan. So, for those of us who have not seen our orders or who have not even been able to order everything or anything, this is how the package arrived for this one person. And I love the fact that Meghan's calligraphy is all over the place. I've been making a soothing tincture of lemon and ginger for many years. This beautiful tea blend simplifies the process so you can enjoy it fuss-free. Just add water and savor it anytime. As ever, Meghan. Don't you love it? That is so cool. I don't think I've ever seen a product that included someone's, I've seen like signature products before, but even the labeling is in Meghan's hand. And again, not perfect. It's not meant to be perfect. That's because it's not a machine signature. This is Meghan's own hand adapted for the label. So, meaning, of course, it's not a straight line. It is perfect handwriting, of course, but it's not some computer straight hand. It's just as if Meghan individually wrote every label out herself. So, and you know what I'm wondering? I'm wondering if for the gift boxes if she didn't actually do those individually. Just saying, it would be a nice touch. I mean, because these are for selected people as a gift. So I wonder if she may have actually done that herself, and then they put them on the packages. And then, of course, for everybody else, it might be a little different, but just maybe. I'm wondering. And then, of course, they all come with the cards. And of course, the individual's name may be on it. And also, I saw a letter, and I tried to go back and rescue it from wherever I saw it, but someone had ordered the more expensive honey with the piece of the honeycomb in it. And unfortunately, they have to refund the money because the order went through, but it's no longer available. So Meghan said that we're going to refund your money, and when it is available, you will receive it at no charge. Yes, you will receive one at no charge. So I thought that was very nice. And you know what? I feel better about it today. I was a bit in shock because I had everything in my basket and then I didn't. But somebody was going to miss the opportunity to make a purchase, and I'm not special. I don't deserve to have a better chance than the next person. So stuff like that happens, and it's because of the excitement of everything that some of us may feel a bit let down, but it's going to get better. And eventually we may see some of these products in the supermarket and such. So I hope so. The sooner the better, but I hope so. But they have to get it off the ground. They have to fine tune everything. Let me see. Upon opening, we found. All right. Okay. I'm looking at this. Let me see here. 1 second, you guys. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, this is a hatchet job. I'm looking at this one review. This is a hatchet job. Yeah, to hell with them. Okay. Sorry about that. I had to see that before I shared it, and I choose not to. Helen G says, Baron, at least Americans are able to order and purchase in 50 states in the USA, unlike the rest of the world. Yeah. Yeah, that is a blessing. Diane Hawkins says, bias doesn't matter when the numbers the Sussex bring do. They are golden, period. No matter what folks think about them or say, this was true. The numbers say way before Sophie of the failed businesses. Yeah. Yeah, money talks. Money talks. Let's see. Don't say that, Baron. Princess Meghan would send you a special gift box if she knew all you do for her and many other Sussex squad. Thank you, Mary H. Oh, really? Yeah. Well, that's that Meghan effect. That is the Meghan effect. Okay, so on the left, Mindy Kaling. Mindy Kaling is the latest celebrity to receive, actually, I shouldn't say celebrity, friend of Meghan to receive her gift box. There it is on the left. And on the right, I just threw that photo of Meghan in there for filler. At least I think that's Meghan. And Daniel in his villain era, they about to open up a Reddit on you. And Daniel says, unfortunately, they've been equally harassed. I've been equally harassed and bullied by these folks for sticking up for my friend, and I'm done being quiet. We're at a moral crossroad in our culture right now, understanding the difference between what's right and wrong, and this is simple wrong. I have nothing to hide when it's the truth. Come on, Daniel. Come on, Daniel. You better say it. Yeah, so Daniel is not having it. He's not having it. And he's been very silent for a long time, but you know me, I don't mind some pushback. I don't. Sometimes you just have to take your chances. You just have to take your chances. Just like taking the tabloid media to court. And that's why I say people really underestimate Harry and Meghan. They underestimate their resolve because it's not without risk to stand up to very powerful people. And they, as a couple, have assumed that risk. So I applaud them for that. The easiest thing to do is to be Prince Charles or King Charles and just knuckle under and cower while somebody tries to destroy your son and your daughter-in-law and your grandchildren. Harry's not that person. Charles is. Or William, just accept the check and don't tell your brother about it. So okay. At the Invictus Games in Canada, you flew the flag for our country. You did us proud once again. Through your courage and strength of mind, you embody the spirit of brotherhood and resilience that honors our armies. The nation will always be behind you. Now, that is from Emmanuel Macron. And he, of course, is celebrating the Invictus Games. He met with the competitors. Let's see, we do more for the French team. Live broadcasts of matches on TV give the French the opportunity to support French team. We must publicize sports competitions and raise awareness among the French population. So that is a caption from the person who posted this, by the way. This is from President Macron. And you can see here the Invictus at Elysee. Our athletes received by Brigitte Macron, or is it Brigitte? Brigitte Macron, patron of the French team and the president of the Republic, Emmanuel Macron. So yeah, they had a day at the Elysee Palace. That is the home of the president of the Republic. So there you go. Nice day for all. And of course, it ended with a selfie. You know, I looked at a documentary about the Elysee Palace, and it's a lot like the White House. It's been through a whole lot of renovations and alterations, and it almost fell to the ground at one point. So, very similar history to the White House. Now, the gatekeeper. We're going to end with the gatekeeper. And who is the gatekeeper? That hired mouth for the royal family. Yes, that one. That one. That raggedy broad right there. Rebecca English. Rebecca, as you know, often travels with the royals, as evident by this. Look like somebody's a little sunburned about the neck and chest and flabby arms. A little sunburned, I think. And that is why her foundation looks so comical, is because I think she's been a bit sunburned. Whenever Will and Kate travels, or Charles and Godzilla for that matter, I believe she usually accompanies them so that she can organize the royal rota. And in case you don't know, she is the undeclared head of the royal rota. She is the one who decides who rotates in and out of the press that accompanies the royals. So about 40 years ago, was it? Charles made a deal with the press, and the royal rota was born, as I understand it. And unlike, let's say, the presidential press corps, who actually flies on Air Force One, they will fly with the royals in very much the same way, but there's not a hint of opposition whatsoever. Everything is coordinated together with the palace and the palace spokesperson or press person or whoever. So it is a well-oiled machine, and for the most part, it has been very effective. Olive Perry, thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you for watching Royal Sussex. And here's a little bonus for you all. Somebody made a what do you call it? An AI of the Sussexes. Yes, this AI has taken about 20 years off of them, hasn't it? I mean, Meghan looks like she's a college freshman, and Harry looks like some kind of bodybuilder or underwear model or something. But yeah, I thought this was pretty cool. Yeah, I think they've taken their age down a bit, though. Anyway, thank you very much, you all. Thank you for allowing me to prosecute this case, because I was fit to be tied with them people. And if nothing else, I just want everybody to feel better that the outcome is more likely to favor the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, mostly Harry, of course, and also the board members that stepped down, and that maybe there will be some justice in the end, and Sophie will be officially exposed for her misdeeds. Seemed like she decided to stay off of television for the weekend, and that was probably smart. I don't know that she's given any other interviews, but there has been some leaks here and there, and probably on both sides. I mean, you just not really leaks, but just dropping those documents so that you can make these things official or at least known. And it's necessary because otherwise, um, Sophie scored some big points in the court of public opinion with her television interview. But since then, even some of the media, including GB News, has kind of picked it apart. So it was skepticism for Sophie in the very beginning with the newspaper article. And then she had her interview because of panic. She was very poised and well polished. And then eventually, over this past week, little by little drips and drabs of information has been coming out. And most of it does not favor Sophie. It has been very unfavorable and unflattering to Sophie. I mean, Sophie. Oh, I I almost called her Sophie Sussex because I'm so used to saying Sophie Wessex. I'm like, oh boy, let me make sure I get that right. So that's it, you guys. Thank you very much. And thank you, moderators, for keeping this the safe space that it has been for quite some times. Okay. Let me see. All right. All right. Okay. I'm just looking at some of your comments. Oh, yeah. The only people that are going to, people know what the Daily Fails motive is, and that is to be as negative as possible, and that there's some vendetta with the Sussexes or directed toward the Sussexes. So I think people know better. I'm pretty sure people know better. But people are fickle, and no matter what, there's always going to be someone who's going to believe everything that comes down the pike. Let me see. Now, you know what I like to do? I like to go to the comments, and whatever is the worst rated comments when it comes to Harry and Meghan, those are the ones that are usually pro Harry and Meghan. Always go to the worst comments first. Like, stop hate. This one says, stop the hate campaign against this lovely, beautiful woman. Another one says, let me see. Okay. It's sold out. Suck it up and move on, haters. Let me see. You jealous twit. You aren't a non-biased journalist. I love Meghan's series, and she talks and behaves the same as when she started dating Harry. Evidently, she is a very strong woman having to endure spite people. I think they mean spiteful. All you haters can go to hell. P.S. I buy spread from many top brands and I prefer that. Let me see. Someone else. I love these. Someone else says, I have received a jar and love it. You are right, though. You can really taste fruit and lemony flavors, which may not suit everyone. As usually, you don't taste the fruit and jam. I will buy again. Oh, I did not find it too liquidy, but it's not as thick as jam. That's because it's a preserve. It is not jam. Um, I had a glass of bubbly with it, and I'm sorry, and it was really delicious. Oh, now see, I like that. If it has a lemony taste to it, I like that. They said, okay, this one says, I tried it out of curiosity. I didn't have the exact same experience. Yes, I could taste the lemon slightly, and it did have a thinner texture than jam. However, it was good. Not the disastrous mess that this article states. Meghan is so disliked, and yes, mostly due to her and Harry's marriage. That's no matter how well she does, something people are going to slaughter. Some people are always going to slaughter her. Meghan's products sold out in 1 hour. She is winning and doesn't give a rat's behind as to what jealous, bitter Brits think of her. She is living her best life and is very happy living in California with her family. I find it amusing how often Daily Mail and readers like to bash her like she cares. I can't with you guys. Go, Meghan. Yeah, they say, I can't with you guys. Go, Meghan. By the time you drop that podcast, these people might have a full on hate stroke. uh, well, let's hope that doesn't happen. So, Amazing Grace, you said, did you people hear that King's Jam also sold out? Well, and then Lex says, I'm guessing Baron didn't recognize it. No, I mean, I thought it sounded like it was true. I thought it sounded like it was true only because I thought it would like spur a lot of people to go and buy it or something like that. But yeah, just because it and then of course they would report something like that, it wouldn't necessarily be true. Like let's say it's sold out at one little place where they sold it or whatever like that. But still there's no comparison because that product has been out for a long time. And if that were really, true, the only way that it would have sold out is because of As Ever. But yeah, so that's why I was just like, oh, okay. I thought maybe it was true, but yeah, I guess I missed that one. But guys, when you're doing this kind of work, you're like a step ahead here and there because you're like a lot of times when I'm talking, I'm looking for a picture, I'm looking to see what's ahead, I'm trying to figure out how many more slides do I have left. So I don't see everything, or I don't actually, pay close attention to absolutely everything because there's a lot going on and it's fun. to do this kind of work, and it's always interesting. And every day you try to do better than the day before. So a lot of stuff I miss. Hmm. Okay. All right. Just like the searches for the edible flowers. I mean, edible flowers were selling like hotcakes because of Meghan, because of As Ever. It was a product that I didn't even know was a thing. I knew people, restaurants, that is. I knew like high-end restaurants, Michelin star places. I knew that they had edible flowers on the menu, but I didn't know that like just the average person would sprinkle the, dried edible flowers on their food. I've never seen that before. The I'm sorry, the as what is it? With Love, Meghan. I never saw that before Meghan's show. Let's see. In UK, sold out, and we no longer carry this. Failed product means same thing as far as Charles Jam didn't sell out. The page was removed to save Charles the embarrassment of the comparison. Good, good. Let me see if I can find this picture. I shared it before, but let me see if I can find it again. Of course, I shared it some, like ages ago, but no, that's wrong. Now, let me see. Huh. I wanted to show you a. Oh, there it is. Oh, wow. It's actually. Well, it's 5 photos, but I guess we'll do this one at a time. Let me see here. Uh-oh, where did it go? Also, by the way, you guys, I am done. So if you need to go ahead. I'm just, doing my usual hanging out a bit before I go. Take a look at that. All right. This is the Windsor Castle gift shop. And these are some of the things that they sell at the Windsor Castle. Now, I don't know where the profit goes. Does it go to the Crown Estate? Which is what I'm guessing, which means that it goes to the royal family. Now, this was during Lizzie's time on the throne. This was 2018. Of course, I purchased a candy bar because walking around Windsor Castle, I had worked up a bit of an appetite. Okay. I got 4 additional images to share with you, so I'll just share them all. Okay, that was one. Here is the next one. Wow, look at the kind of stuff they have on sale. Now, this one is for the royal wedding. You can see Harry and Meghan's picture in the background. Yeah, this one is the one for Harry and Meghan. Now, of course, most gift shops look like they're on a state of, like is somebody's. It looks like a hoarder lives there. So, but this being the royal gift shop is very posh. It is very, very posh. So, yeah, that was again the gift shop at Windsor Castle. Okay. And okay, here's the next one. If you like red, this is the red collection of dishes or whatever, plates. Yeah, they set up everything really nice. Very nicely set up. Okay. Let me get to the next one. This is a different purple. Yeah, I showed you one purple. This is a different one. I think that one is the Queen Mother. I think that's the Queen Mother. Maybe. I can't really tell. But I'm sorry you can't see all the deal. But what is the big deal about tea towels? The tea towels seem to be a very British thing, but exactly how does one use a tea towel and why are they so collectible? It's like who collects a thimble from the World's Fair? Who collects a tea towel? What are you going to do with it? Okay, I got one last something from Windsor Castle to share with you. And I don't know, I think this one is my favorite. Is that turquoise? I like that one. Hey, do they still have that black guy that was um the archbishop at the York Cathedral? Do they still have that archbishop or bishop at the York Cathedral? Sulu, something like that name. Is he still there? Oh, you guys, I took thousands of photos. I literally took thousands of photos. Um, I'm very detailed about everything, and I like, it's like I'm sitting here talking about this. I love being able to just whatever I'm speaking of to reference it like that. So you'll find me taking pictures of some of the weirdest things because I want to make sure that I still have it. Oh, wait until you see this. I think I have it here. Okay, this is it. I thought that this was hilarious when I saw it. That is a Christmas ornament. And usually it is the usual very pink flesh tone image of the person. But since they have someone of African descent as the Archbishop of York, This is the Christmas ornament they sold in his likeness. I wish I would have gotten that. That would have been so cool. Yeah, so instead of, the usual pink flesh tone, this one actually reflects the person that's there. How cool is that? How cool is that? You see what I'm talking about? Who takes pictures like this? I take a picture of everything. If it's interesting to me, I want to save it. Okay. And that's at the York Cathedral. I love York. If you get a chance to go to the UK, make sure you go to York. It still has this, I guess it's a medieval wall or Roman wall or whatever. But yeah, they still have that fortification that surrounds the old part of town. You can completely walk around the entire thing. Most of it is still intact. And that was very cool. And they have the Rail Museum. And it's close to Castle Howard. So if you want to go to the castle that was featured in a lot of movies like Brideshead Revisited, it is a short bus ride from York to get there. I think we spent like maybe 45 minutes on the bus. Okay, I think this was also in the gift shop. Yeah, that was also in the gift shop. Thank you, Jessica Foreman. I made it a point to buy some postage stamps while I was there. And I had to go to a few places before I could find them. But I did find them. I was in the Cotswolds when I finally hunted down the Harry and Meghan postage stamps. Let me see if I have a photo of it here. I know I do have a photo, but I don't know if I labeled it as postage stamps. So maybe I can find it, maybe not. I'm checking though. And I don't see it. Let me see. Let me think. I was in the Cotswolds, but I don't know. Was there a name to that town? I don't know. Let me try searching like this. Huh. Oh, that may work out. Let me see. I'm scrolling. Oh, that might work out. Let me see. When I took that trip in 2018, I hadn't been on vacation for 9 years. So I made sure that I made up for lost time. I did. I made sure I made up for lost time. And people have asked me, how much did all that cost you? I don't know exactly, but it was just about everything I had saved. I'm like, I'm going on a trip. It was just about everything I had saved. I don't see it. Fudge. Oh well. Yeah, the all of the AI stuff, Apple makes it so easy to search out your photos. Sometimes it'll go right to it. Um, if you just, like right now, I'm searching postage stamps, and everything that it thinks look like a postage stamp. That's what they shared with me, but it's just not what I was looking for. Oh well. Huh. Okay. Yeah, I cannot find it. I know I was in the Cotswolds though. Uh-huh. Oh, there they are. I found it. I just searched Cotswolds. I know where I was. If you put the location, sometimes you can find it. See there? And I was on the bus leaving the Cotswolds, and I took a picture of it. Oh, thank you so much. That's his name. Sentamu. Bishop Sentamu of York retired in 2020. Okay. Thank you. Vivi, what is it, BB Mac? Thank you very much. So yeah, that is my Harry and Meghan postage stamps. Now, how did I find that? I put York, right? No, I put Cotswolds. That's what I did. You guys, I went so many places in the UK. I spent a whole month riding trains and buses. And it is beautiful there. It really is. And Bath. Bath is beautiful. Is Bath in the Cotswolds? I can't remember. And of course, I took a picture of a newspaper stand. It was wedding fever all over the place. It was wedding fever. And ever since then, I have been very protective of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Yep, very protective. And this was in the Cotswolds. That's where I took that photo. Okay, let me see if I can find one more. Bath is really nice too. Now I'm gonna show you something that I that you've seen in I don't know how many movies. Um, oh wow, it won't let me. Oh, you know what? I got too many pictures open. Let me see. I gotta close a couple, get rid of a couple of these. Won't let me open up anything else. Okay. This bridge right here. You've seen this in Bridgerton. Um, this one. This is an estate, a manor house that's up in the hills, like outside of Bath, and you could actually see it from Bath. It's a school now, but you're not able to go into the manor house, but you can roam around the gardens and such. So I I took, I don't know, probably about 50 different photos of this bridge. Unfortunately, there is no water on the other side. It's there's a dam on the other side. They don't have enough water, so they blocked off the other side. So this side is the reflecting pool side of it, a reflecting pond, but there is no water on the other side of it for some reason. But this has been in a lot of those period movies. And I didn't recognize it before I went there, but ever since then, every time I see it in a movie, I'm like, "Oh, that's that place." I'll see if I can show you what the house looks like. If I can find the house, I'll show you. But yeah, they don't let you go in the house, but you can walk around the gardens. And I was by myself. There was nobody else up there but me. I like ran into another couple walking through, but mostly I was, it was early in the tourism season, so I was pretty much by myself. Oh, uh, oh, okay. This is the house. You can barely see it for the trees, but this is about as close as you can get. It's a school, so they don't want you trying to nose around the place. And I forgot the name of the house, but let me see. I've looked it up before though. It's something Park. Something Park is the name of it. Bath, England Manor House School. There it is. It's called Prior Park. Prior Park College. That is the name of it. Prior Park College. So it has been converted into a school, which is off limits to the public, but us common folks can wander the grounds if we like. So if you want to look it up, it is called Prior Park College. How about that? Pretty cool, right? I know I got a better picture than that, but can't really find it. But Bath is beautiful. I love Bath. Oh, you know what? The reason why I don't have a better picture is because I took that photo with my cell phone, with my mobile, and all of the other photos was with a DSLR camera. So a lot of photos that I'm searching for, that camera didn't have the location on it. Yeah, it's an older camera, so it did not have the location or GPS like the newer cameras have. And like a newer camera, it connects directly to your phone, but that camera did not. But it's still a good camera, so that's why I've never replaced it. Oh, did they? I didn't know that. Yeah, and you know what? Someone asked me, they said, "Are you gonna keep a journal, a travel journal?" And I'm like, "No, my photos are my travel journal. My photos is all the journal I need." If I took time to, sit around and write this and write that, that would slow me down. I like to be able to just snap a picture. If I need more information, I could just search it. But the view of the house, let me see if, well, no, that would be, you know what, though? I could find it if I really wanted to. I really could find it. Um, but now I'm not going to do all that. But anyway, I'm going to, I was going to say I was going to grab something off the internet and show it, but that's a video, not a photo. I wonder how old the bridge is. Let me see. Prior Park Bridge. It's in the National Trust. Unfortunately, people have scratched graffiti into it over the years. And, oh, I didn't know this, but the landscape is from Capability Brown. I think his name is William Capability Brown. He's like the Olmsted of England. In the US, about 700, 800 parks and cemeteries were designed by John Olmsted and his son. And in the UK, most of the big prestigious manor houses, the grounds were cultivated by Capability Brown or someone who worked with him. You'll find that name come up over and over again. Okay, so the bridge, let me go back to the bridge. So it says the Palladian Bridge, arguably Prior Park's best known feature. The Palladian Bridge is an elegant, eye-catching piece of architecture built in 1755. Wow. And the last of its kind in England. The Palladian architecture style was influenced by the works of 16th century Venetian architect Andrea, guess what the name? Andrea Palladio, and peaked in popularity in England in the 18th century. Yeah, so imagine that. Some kid from Chicago grows up and finds himself in Bath, England, at the Prior Manor House, walking across a 1755 bridge. How in the hell did I get there? That just blows my mind. Yeah, that just blows my mind. I'm like, how in the hell did I get there? I still wish I could have gone inside the house, but next time. I'll just pretend like I'm one of the students. And then after I left, I walked all the way back to the city center. I walked all the way back down to the city center. I was exhausted. You think there's a problem going uphill, but going downhill, that is also very taxing on you because your muscles are constantly resisting the momentum of going too fast. But yeah, I took the bus up there, but I walked down. But it was a great walk. I mean, I walked through some areas, and again, there was nobody out there but me. Once in a while, a car would go by, but it was like I had the whole thing to myself. Okay, are we done, you guys? I think that's a good ending. All right. Love you guys. I'll see you next time. Hopefully, the lady Sussex will be on tomorrow. Let me see if she left a message saying yay or nay. Also, you guys, Celibici was on today. And I love Celibici. I'm going to put the link up there right now. Celibici. They were on today. That is the link. I'm going to put it at the top of the chat for your consideration. Okay. It is pinned to the top of the chat. Make super chat more fun with a goal. Set a goal to encourage your audience in a new way. Once you reach your goal, celebrate with the community. I've never seen this before. They changed something. Okay, so I do that and then what? Okay, you do that and then what happens? All right, salsa. Okay. So you have to list the goal, and then you have to put how you're going to celebrate. Now, do you all see it? Can you see it? I put a goal. Oh, you can see it. Oh, okay. There it is right there. Oh, I just entered myself. Okay. Okay, don't bother. I'm fixing to go anyway. Anyway. There you go. Now, I'm going to send myself one to see how it look. Oh, look at there. Look at there. I did not know that that was there. Oh, thank you. Thank you, VV Mac. Oh, and thank you, Royal Sussex. Oh, that is crazy. I did not know they had this. When I was trying to do the other thing, I looked up there at the top and it was right up there at the top. I told y'all they keep changing stuff, and just when you think you got it figured out, they'll change something else. But anyway, don't bother y'all because I'm fixing to go. Okay, I will see you all next time.